So what's good, homies? It's your man, Dr. BOA. So you men know I talk about marriage a lot. And I talk about the fact that the divorce laws in this country are so skewed that men should really seriously consider whether they're going to marry a woman or not. I never say you should never put a woman in the position of wife. I always say you should only put a woman in the position of wife if she earns that position. So some beta male simp mangina jumped in the comments and said, if you say all men that married are simps, then that means Gucci Mane is simp. I bet you won't say doctor. I bet you won't say Gucci Mane is simp. That'll be away. I bet you won't say Gucci Mane is simp. That'll be away. You do all that talking, all that simp talking. That'll be away. I bet you won't say it. I double dog dare you to say that. Well, you may say it, but well, say it anyway. That'll be away. Unsubscribe. Listen, man. Here's the reality of the situation. Okay, unsubscribe, sucker. But before you go, let me tell you this. I've already covered on several different occasions how Gucci Mane's wife, Keyshia Kaoir, has proven her value as a wife. She has proven herself to be an asset in his life. And many times you men overlook these things because some of you men are so butthurt and so, out of tune with your manhood and masculinity and have been dogged out so poorly by women because you put yourself in the position to be dogged out by women that you're looking for anything negative that you can find. Any man who's married to a woman who has not proven herself worthy of that position and earned that position and also worked to maintain that position is a simp. And in this video, I'm going to give you 4 reasons, and I may throw in an extra one, why Gucci Mane's wife has earned that, according to both he and her. Now, a couple of the things that I talk about that matter so much are shut-upness and obedience. Now, here's the thing. Shut-upness doesn't mean that a woman can't talk. It means she can't talk when you're talking. It means that once you lay down the law, then she is going to follow that law and not dispute and debate and go back and forth and try to change what you have said or go behind your back and rearrange something that you have already set into place. Now, we all know the story, and if you don't, I'm going to clarify it for you. Gucci Mane was not in the right headspace once upon a time. He was always inebriated, very negative energy around him, 1 foot in the streets, 1 foot out. He admits this. He made a lot of enemies out of his friends and probably made some friends out of his enemies. But the reality of the scenario is this. Every man reaches a point in his life where he changes. But you have to go back and mend those fences. Well, here's the thing. Here's a woman that stood by Gucci before he mended those fences. She admits, he treated her terribly. He was not there for her. He was not very responsive to a woman who was trying to be there for him. And he caught a bid. Now I want you men to answer this question. I want you to comment down below if you have ever had a woman that you thought would ride out of prison bid with you. I'm talking about be honest with yourself. Or if you have had a woman who rode out of prison bid with you, tell me how much value that proved to you. And none of you men had $2 million to leave the woman. This man went to prison and left his money with a woman that he had been mistreating, had not been receptive to her attempt to love on him. And he was gone to prison, a convicted felon. This woman is from the Caribbean. She could have taken that man money and moved on back to the Caribbean. And you know what he could have done? Nothing. Because I'm going to be honest with you. If you're a convicted felon, it's hell to move around the world. Depending on what your felony is, it's tough to move in the United States. And you know what she did with that money? She didn't spend it on herself, which she could have done. She didn't give it to her family, which she could have done. She didn't run off with the next man with it, which she could have done. He went to prison with 2, came out with 6. Because she flipped it. And not only did she flip his money, she used some of the proceeds to create her own lane, her own revenue source. I'm going to be honest with you. I can't tell you the last time I met a woman, man, with a tight body, man, who wasn't using some of Keyshia Kaoir products. I'm going to be honest with you. Like, she's a phenomenon when it comes to that. That's one thing. That represents loyalty. That represents loyalty and patience. Here's a woman who could have done all of the negative things we talk about all the time And what did she do? Her mind said, I'm going to show this man that I have his back, that I am the one to put in the wife position. The next thing, you know how women are these days. Look at all these memes and all these posts we see about how a woman say, well, if someone don't appreciate you, you can't make them appreciate you. All of these things. These women do this just because a man had another woman. I'm sure Gucci had other women because Gucci admits he had other women. Keyshia admits she knows he had other women. And you know what she did? She showed patience because you know what that woman did? That woman took the time to take the focus off herself and she focused on that man. She revered the man that was deep in him because the Gucci man you see right now is the Gucci man she knew was already in there. And I know some beta male my Johnny gonna come in here and say,
"What did it be away? Don't you know that to be away? You don't know what you're talking about to be away. That is not the real Gucci not to be away. The real Gucci was fat. The real Gucci was high all the time. The real Gucci had one foot in the street and one foot out to be away. And the real Gucci did not have no love for nobody to be away. The real Gucci don't look like that to be. He don't even talk like the real Gucci to be away. The real Gucci one had a belly to be away. This Gucci right here. He is not the best form of Gucci. He is lean. He is in shape. He seems to be happy. He is on his bed and got BOA. Don't be late in no means. This is not the real Gucci. The real Gucci is the bad Gucci. This is the good Gucci. It's a clone of the BOA. You don't know that.
Unsubscribe. Okay, unsubscribe, sucker. Before you go, let me tell you this. It's funny how y'all simps see a man become the best version of himself and don't want him to be that. You know how many times I heard people say, I want the old Gucci back? So you want the Gucci back that was killing himself. You want the Gucci back that was bringing negative energy into his own life. But here's the smart thing about Gucci. He chose the woman's energy over you beta male simp mangina's energy. That man got lean because when he was in prison, that woman was waking up every day. He was calling her in the morning. And they were working out together, doing their routine together every morning. She gave this man the wifey experience while he was behind the wall. All the while flipping his money. All the while mending some fences that she could mend. Because you know the allure of an attractive woman will mend some fences for a man. All of the things she could have done. We didn't hear about her traipsing around with no other dudes. We didn't hear about none of that. Actually, I haven't heard her traipsing around with any of these industry dudes. When he came home, she prepares his meals every single day and she makes sure he eats clean. You know how guys be 500 pounds talking about, man, I'm just eating good, man. No, you eating bad. Gucci eating good. And here's a woman who prepares all of his meals for him. Because that's what a wife is supposed to do. She's not just supposed to cook for you. She's supposed to prepare sustenance for you. And she does that. Because she reveres the man that she saw inside of him and the man that now we see. Another thing, she bought into the process of his progress. The Gucci we see right now, signing all these artists, doing what he's doing. If you don't like the music, fine, you don't like the music. I guarantee that's something you listen to that we don't like. But he is moving and grooving and doing what he has always done, giving young people the opportunity to create generational wealth for themselves and their children and their children's children. As long as what you're doing is not illegal, what's the harm in that in this particular society? See, these four principles, loyalty, patience, reverence, and buying into your process are more important than virginity. Because what if you had a virgin who dipped out on you as soon as you went? Now you ain't even in prison. As soon as you went and spent a night in jail, she was gone. What if you had a virgin who, in spite of all of her flaws, all of her inconsistencies, didn't have the patience to see you as a man grow into the man you're going to be. Remove yourself from the environment that you need to be removed from. This man changed because he needed to be removed from the environment he was in, and he did. And the woman stayed there and stayed loyal and held him down and even grew his business. You know, it's a whole hell of a lot different, boy, to come out to 2 million that you left than to come out to 6 million. That's a big difference, boy. You could say what you want to say about her IG posts or any of that or how she dresses. Most of the time you see her dress, she's with her husband. And here's the thing. You may not like that kind of woman, but Gucci does. We all have our personal preference in women. You may like women that weigh 250 pounds. We don't. But that don't mean that we get to choose your woman for you. If you like it, we love it. And it's the same thing with this situation. So to the simp who jumped in the comments, trying to sow strife over something that doesn't even make sense, for all intents and purposes, from everything we see, everything we hear, everything we know, everything they've shared, Gucci has put a woman in the position of wife who has earned that position. Here's a king who has put a woman in position to be a queen because she earned that position. Many of you chumps out here are so weak and so mentally hurt and emotionally disturbed and distraught that a woman could do all this and you'll still push her to the side, then fall off and hit rock bottom again. You got to think about blessings in your life and understand when you got one. Now, am I saying Keyshia Kaoir would be a blessing for you or me or someone else? That don't even matter. I'm talking about she was a blessing for Gucci. And so in the hood and beyond, Gucci and Keyshia should definitely be couples goals. Because this 1017 Brick Squad thing has always been in his wheelhouse. So the process of his progress is what she bought into from day one. And more than virginity, more than tranquility, more than anything, the most valuable asset that a woman can bring to you is to buy into the process of your progress. Because that, my friends, is the essence of a helpmeet. And I don't know what else Gucci might have, but he got himself a helpmeet. And he just had a little baby Ice, so he got himself a mate too. We all have things from our past that we wish we could go back and change. But the bottom line in this life is to live for the now. And you got to do what's best for you every day. And if you get a woman that prove all the things she's proven, you better put her in the wife position. Otherwise, you better keep it moving. Because she ain't worth it. Y'all comment down below and let me know what you think about this topic, man. I look forward to hearing what you men have to say. I'm out.
Alphas up, betas down, it's the motto. Simps claiming that they pimps, but they not though. Alphas up, betas down, it's the motto. Suckers claiming to be players, but they not though. Alphas up, betas down, it's the motto. Tricks acting like they max, but they not though. Alphas up, betas down, it's the motto.